Hey everybody, it's Kneecap here, and welcome to This Week in WoW for the week of September 24th. Before we get started, let's shout out the Patreon subscribers. We have Mario Casillas, Rhett Pally Rocks, Nick Rada, and Peter Burnham. Thank you guys so much for the support. I appreciate it. More than words can say, honestly. So let's go ahead and hop into talk about what's going on in the game this particular week. War Within feels like it's just been a rush so far. There was definitely a slow time towards the beginning of the season, like right before it started, but it's been pretty crazy since then. So we do not know the order of the Xal'atath affixes. So last week we had Ascendant, which is the use your disorient, use your stuns, use your CC abilities to stop these orbs from casting. We don't know what we have this week, but I assume this will go in a rotation eventually, and that it won't be completely random. So we should have a new one this week. Again, I have no idea what that could be. Could be any of the other three, I imagine. I assume then, once we get the first four, or the first three, we'll know what the fourth one is, and then we'll be able to, predict which one's going to be every single week. And if so, we will mention that here in this video. Other than that, also this week, we do have the final Raid Finder wing opening up for New Rivar Palace, so you can do that. You have the Battleground Bonus event going on, so all the Honor enjoyers, all the PvP enjoyers, you can get tons of stuff. Heck, I might be doing this just to try to get all the patterns because they're so expensive to buy from the auction house. Maybe doing a little bit extra to try to buy some of the blacksmithing patterns from the PvP vendor recipe vendor guy by taking advantage of the extra honor there. And there's also PvP Brawl Temple of Hot Mugu as well, so kind of a PvP themed week there when it comes to that. One suggestion that I had, and it's actually something I used to do in this video a long time ago, was the world boss. So we do not know the rotation of world bosses yet either, but there will be a world boss this week, I would imagine. So that does count towards like your world track on your vault. So if we open up our vault here, so down here on the world track, killing the world boss does count on that. I think it might just be tier 1 or a lower tier, but it does count. So whatever tier it is, it does count. So we do have, there is a new world boss. Don't know which one it's going to be or how you're going to do it, but that should be available there to do. When it comes to the raid, the race to the world first, if you care about that, even if you don't, we have not cleared the raid yet. A lot of times the first raid of an expansion might only last the first week. It looks like maybe the European teams could maybe get killed the second to last boss before the reset, but it looks like the NA teams are just going to go into the reset and re-clear. So Silken Court still has, as I'm making this at least, still has not been killed. That could change, of course. And then we haven't even seen Queen Anserac on Mythic yet, so that's very interesting. I'm enjoying it somewhat. I'm not watching it as much as I may have in the past, mostly because I'm just, again, playing the game so much and enjoying playing the game that I don't really have a lot of ambition to watch other people play. It makes me want to play the game right now, which is definitely a good place for the game to be in, of course. I guess it's worth mentioning as well. I didn't quite get to this, but we do have Brewfest still going on, so you can still do your Brewfest stuff. Like I said last week, I did make a video for Brewfest last year when it came out with a few new things. Basically, it's not a ton of new stuff. If you've done it before, you're not missing out a lot. Basically, you can get a mount saddle and a few new transmog items, basically, is all they really added. And there might have been like a couple new quests, but they weren't like, jaw-dropping or anything like that. So you're not missing out too much on the Brewfest aspect of things. So yeah, Race to World first. My guild should be getting more into Mythic this week. They killed the first boss last week for fun. I didn't actually get a chance to go to that. My computer was kind of being a little bit messed up at that time. It was actually just I had a different piece of software running, and it was crashing my WoW constantly. So until I figured that out, I wasn't actually able to even load World of Warcraft up. So I didn't get to go to the first Mythic boss, but that's okay. They did kill the first boss at least. And so hopefully we'll get a little bit more into Mythic this week. Heroic, very, very simple for my guild. So that's not giving us too much of a challenge or anything like that. So we definitely need to get into that Mythic progression. at least get like those first 4 bosses down that are very killable before we start, you know, a little bit more of a slow process there. So that's where I'm at personally. Mythic Plus wise, I wanted to comment on this a little bit. So I did do a video for beginners to endgame. I've noticed a lot in Mythic Plus this first week that there's a lot of people in there who maybe haven't done Mythic Plus before. I've had some bad interactions, honestly, but I've had mostly good interactions because I'm trying to be kind. I'm trying to be helpful. You know, I've had a couple bad interactions where I was just like, hey, this isn't working. I gotta leave. And you know, somebody was like, you know, would flame, like send me a terrible message or whatever, and it would happen to be the person in the group that didn't know what they were doing. Unfortunately, that did that each time, and so yeah, so that was a little bit unfortunate, but trying to help out people as much as I can. Like I said, I did a video about weak auras and macros and simming your character and stuff like that, and you know, just trying to help, because if there are new players, then you know they should, you know, if they want to learn to do this stuff, then they should be able to. And I'm just trying to help out with that personally. So it's been a bit of a mixed bag. I'm having a lot of fun in the keys though. I like going into those plus 10s. I only did one plus 10, but I like going into that and it being really hard and trying to figure out what to do. As Rhett specifically, I was off healing a lot. I was using my lay on hands a lot, like basically almost on cooldown. Like, okay, it's time to save somebody again with this lay on hands. Bosses were not as hard as I expected, and the trash is really what scaled up. So you really notice people missing kicks when you get to that plus 10 level, probably the plus 9 level as well. But I did a plus 9, a plus 10, a few plus 8s as far as like higher keys go. And yeah, it was good though. I liked it. I enjoyed it. So I expect I'm going to enjoy at least the first few weeks of this Mythic Plus season, even if I'm not a hardcore Mythic Plus player. You know, I'm having a good time. I like that challenge. I like figuring out when to press my cooldowns, press defensives, how much healing I have to do. You know, there's times where I have to basically press Word of Glory every time during like when like a hard mechanic's going on, and heal myself or heal somebody else. So that I found that very interesting. I found that very fun. So I had a blast this week overall. I actually didn't get to play as much as I liked because I actually had a wedding to go to this past week as well. So I would have played even more probably, but I had to. It wasn't a big travel, but a short travel to a wedding, and so I had to do that. But yeah, I think that'll be about it for this one. Hopefully everyone else is having fun, as much fun as I am at least. And yeah, as always, I do ask you to please subscribe to the channel because that helps me out a lot. If you're already a subscriber, I encourage you to check out the Patreon. And other than that, everybody have a good one.